Ну что, почитаем тексты? People all over the world love Christmas. In English-speaking countries, it is the 25th of December. It is a time for buying and giving presents, having parties and being with family. People start to get ready for Christmas in late October or early November. Shopkeepers decorate their shops with lights. They do it because shoppers start to look for presents. Shops are very busy at this time and stay open late. People with family and friends in other countries often send them cards and presents. Everyone begins to make plans for the coming holiday. Most people buy Christmas trees and put them inside the house. They put colorful decorations on them. They also sing carols. Children enjoy advent calendars with little doors for each day until Christmas. Every day they open a new door and see a picture or a chocolate inside. Everybody knows about ducks. The duck is a water bird. There are about 100 species or types of ducks. They are found almost all over the world. These birds are rather small. Soft inner feathers protect them from cold. A gland near the tail produces oil. This oil helps protect the outer feathers from water. Most types of ducks feed at the water surface. They dip their heads below the surface while tipping up their tails. They eat many plants and insects. Many ducks nest on the ground near water, but some types nest in trees. They take care of their ducklings until they can feed themselves and then let them roam free. Many types of ducks migrate, or fly long distances to spend different seasons in different regions. People keep ducks for their meat, eggs, and feathers. Some hunters shoot ducks for sport. Corals are sea animals that stay in one place during their lives. Corals can be very colorful underwater, but most types fade when they die or when they are removed from the water. Corals live in all the oceans of the world, in places where the water is warm. Some types live alone. Many types live together in groups called colonies. In fact, several different types of corals together can form really huge colonies. These colonies are called coral reefs. They look like plants. People have long used corals to make decorations, but this and other human activities have put many corals at risk. Rising ocean temperatures, oil spills, and chemical pollution harm corals. Boats that float over reefs may also damage corals. People must do everything they can to protect them from extinction. Ice hockey is a popular team sport. It developed in Canada from games played with sticks and a ball, which was later substituted with a puck. Both men and women play hockey in schools and clubs, on amateur and professional teams, on national and international levels. Ice hockey is usually played on a surface called a rink. Several boundary lines run across the rink. Two blue lines divide the rink into 3 zones. Hockey is a rough sport, with a great deal of body contact between the players. Hockey players wear ice skates and move with great speed and skill across the ice. The game starts with a face-off in the center of the rink. 2 teams of 6 players compete to score the most points. A team scores when it moves the puck into the opponent's goal. Now, ice hockey is a part of the Winter Olympics both for men and women. Scientists have been trying to get into the world of animals for a long time. One of their goals is to learn to communicate with every living creature in their language. In fact, animals do not use language in the same way that people do. However, many animals do communicate using sounds. For example, dogs can whine, bark, or snarl. These sounds may express fear, danger, hunger, or other information. A chicken can produce more than 10 signals, whereas a dolphin has a range of more than 20 different sounds. Some birds, such as the great parrot, can even copy human speech. Once a parrot managed to learn 120 words, which is amazing. Nevertheless, humans are the only animals that can use speech to express ideas. Even if animals are trained to reproduce sounds similar to those used by people, it's still not speech. As soon as spring brings a new growth of bushes and berries, bears start feeding. They eat and eat. All through the spring and summer their feeding goes on. The bears build themselves up. They store food and fats that they will need in the fall when they start their long sleep. As days grow shorter and the temperature begins to fall, bears hunt for a sleeping place. It may be a shallow cave or a deep crack between rocks. Some bears end up sleeping in hollow logs. Logs seem to be bears' favorite places. Bears seem to choose small spaces. They can keep warmer in a cave that's just large enough to hold them than in a larger cave. They often line their sleeping place with leaves and dried grass. All through their winter naps, bears will not eat. Often they will sleep for 7 months, moving only now and then. Champagne was not invented in France. It may come as a surprise, even an outrage to them, but champagne is an English invention. As anyone who has made their own ginger beer knows, fermentation naturally produces bubbles. The problem has always been controlling it. The English developed a taste for fizzy wine in the 16th century, importing barrels of green, flat wine from Champagne and adding sugar and molasses to start it fermenting. They also developed the strong coal-fired glass bottles and corks to contain it. A legal loophole uniquely allows Americans to call their sparkling wines champagne. The Treaty of Madrid decreed that only the Champagne region may use that name. This was reaffirmed by the Treaty of Versailles, but the US signed a separate peace agreement with Germany. When Prohibition was lifted, American wine merchants took advantage of this loophole, freely selling their own champagne, much to the annoyance of the French. The highest mountain is located on Mars. The giant volcano Mount Olympus is the highest mountain in the solar system and in the known universe. At 14 miles and 388 miles across, it is almost the highest mountain is located on Mars. The giant volcano Mount Olympus is the highest mountain in the solar system and in the known universe. At 14 miles and 388 miles across, it is almost 3 times the height of Mount Everest and so wide that its base could cover Arizona, or the whole of the area of the British Isles. The crater on the top is around 45 miles wide and over nearly 2 miles deep, easily big enough to swallow London. We traditionally measure mountains by their height. If we measured them by their size, it would be meaningless to isolate one mountain in a range from the rest. That being so, Mount Everest would dwarf Olympus Mons. It is part of the gigantic range, which is nearly 1,500 miles long. Можно еще 1500 сказать. Islands that appear and disappear are certainly part of the world's legends. But in 1963, with the age of cameras and scientific observers, some of those legends were given a solid basis of fact. For example, on the 13th of November 1963, a kind of miracle occurred. An island was born. On that day, a fishing boat sailed into waters that were boiling and rolling and foul with a strong smell. The world still had a hard time believing the miracle that was to occur. It was the first time that scientists were to witness the unexpected birth of an underwater island. First the engineer, then the captain, and at last the cook were aware of awful smell and the peculiar roll of the sea. But it was the cook who first noticed the smoke. He thought there was a ship in trouble somewhere on the seas. Most children love Christmas. In Great Britain, the holiday begins on the 24th of December. People stop their work early and gather at home with their kids. Parents cover the present in special paper and put them under the Christmas tree. Children leave a stocking for Santa Claus when they go to bed. Santa Claus is a big man with white hair and red clothes. He brings presents for children during the night. If the house has a fireplace, the children sometimes leave their stockings by the fire. They are sure that Santa Claus comes down the chimney. Mothers and fathers tell their children that Santa Claus only comes when they are sleeping. However, children find it difficult to sleep well at Christmas night. In the morning, they wake up early to see what Santa put there for them. After breakfast, they open their other presents around the tree.